Recording's in progress. Good.
Yeah.
So you can see me okay?
Perfectly. And I can hear you perfectly too.
Excellent. Um, so the Sinners and Saint EP, long time coming, right?
Very long time coming. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. A lot of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears went into that EP. 100%.
Was it pandemic? Was the COVID thing the impetus for some of the material, or had it already
So
been written?
yeah, most of it was already written. Me and my producer at the time, Clint Fowler, we wrote everything pretty much before pre-pandemic. But during the pandemic, it actually gave us time to like sit and reset and like redo things and really go in and be like perfectionists and tweak out what we wanted, what we didn't want. I went in and changed some melodies and re-recorded some stuff. So as much as the pandemic like sucked, for me personally, and I've noticed with a lot of artists too, it was really, really a great time to just create and take our time. And that's exactly what we did with Sinner and Saint.
So many of you, yeah, did. I mean, it showed of like being the stay-at-home order. You had
Yeah.
artists, contacting. I'm using Charlie Benante from Anthrax, for example. Just got together with all these musicians, and they put together these compilations, whether it were cover songs. It just seemed to be a lot of stuff was born out of it that was positive.
Yeah.
And for you guys, and for this, it seems like a couple of those songs were autobiographical. I mean, were they, you know, inspired from some type of heartache?
Oh
Uh,
yeah. I'm definitely the type of artist where I really can't write anything that is like fake. It has to come from the heart, it has to come from the soul. Everything that I write is personal experiences that I've undertaken and that I feel so strongly about that I want to put in my music for my audience and my fans to relate with me and to also create their own stories. I think that's such a an important thing about being an artist is, we write something and we have our own story, but putting it out into the world, Joe and Ashley may have a completely different, feeling of what they feel about Lost Soul, for example. And I love that. I love that fans can create their own stories to, an artist's music. It's important.
right. I really keyed into Bloodless. I think that is just
Yeah.
um, it has it's kind of Eastern tinge, the beginning
Mm-hmm.
of percussion, right?
Yeah.
Was that something that you was it a collaboration, or did you have this composition already kind of plotted with the lyrics?
Um, Bloodless for me, which I've noticed just with the EP being out, it really seems to hit everybody, which again really means a lot to me. It was my most vulnerable song I ever wrote. And I wrote that song in 30 minutes, hysterical crying on my bathroom floor. Um, the lyrics just poured out of me. The melody, I don't know, these melodies, they just come out of the universe into my brain. And I just had these lyrics and I had this melody and I went to Clint and he's like, "Oh my God, I love this. This is amazing." Like, and I was like, "Put your spin on it." And I remember the first day I went into the studio with him, he's like, "I have this like Indian kind of Eastern feel with like the percussion." And I was like, "Okay," like it fits and it really pulls you in and takes you to like a different dimension, I feel.
Mhm.
But that was not planned at all. Like it wasn't like, "Hey Clint, I hear, like these kind of percussions and like this vibe." No, it was just he kind of ran with it and it seems to be everyone's favorite song, which is cool. I love that.
Well, I dig it, but not to take anything away from obviously sinner and saint, but self sabotage. That one is pretty gnarly. With the
Thanks.
video accompaniment, I mean it's great. I mean and it's probably the heaviest track. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I really wanted to showcase that side. That's why after a year I went back in and I was like, I want to do a music video to this because, Sinner and Saint has like the lyric video. It's very the, goddess on the throne, good and evil kind of feel. And then
Mhm.
we did a video for Dominate, which was my like very dominating side, my more sexy side. And I wanted to show that like rough and tough kind of, I feel like how I really am in kind of like real life, that self sabotage, with the band behind me. And yeah, it's the heaviest track. And with new music to come, it's really the way that I want to continue to keep going, is that like harder kind of sound.
And you probably had, I'm imagining you have a lot of material in the can that's just waiting to come out, but you took
Yeah.
it and you tightened it to 5 songs that were um, a little juxtaposition, a lot of, it shows your range, in other words, because I don't think you were always an alternative metal musician.
No, I wasn't. When I started, I was more rock pop rock. Like
Mhm.
think of like if Pink and Christina Aguilera had a baby. But like, metal and rock is what I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
And when I moved to LA 4 years ago, I was trying to find that niche of people I could work with to bring that out of me. And, thank God I did, but it took me a really long time. So I think that's why also this EP is so special to me. It really showcases like Lexi Layne as a whole, my vocal range, the ups and the downs. And I think that's important when you release an album or an EP, just really showcasing who you are.
Right. To say the vocals, I mean, obviously you are vocally trained. You come from a theater background, I heard, right?
Yes, yes, I do.
So you can like throw it without being mic'd to the back of the room if you want. I mean, it's pretty strong vocals in this.
Thank
Um,
you.
it seems like you have that. And also, can't help but delve into the burlesque thing. That was, you're still doing that, right?
Yeah, I still do it as more of like a hobby. Also like some of my closest friends are in that group, the Damn DeVilles.
Mm-hmm.
But it really was such a great way to kind of get me back into performing because yeah, I grew up doing theater for years. That's how I'm trained, which was the best thing I ever did. My mom throwing me into theater, but getting back into the burlesque, getting into the burlesque was a great way for me to really get comfortable being on stage again and showcasing myself. And then I started singing and doing burlesque at the same time. So I feel like it was a really good like um pre to what is about to come now. So I'm really grateful for that.
I think with the burlesque, I think it makes you more brazen, and more. I mean, it is definitely a good preliminary thing.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not? I mean, you're basically uh, exposing not just the skin, but your.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty risque, but it was. I mean, I've seen some of the videos. I have yet to go out and see you guys live. I've
Yeah,
seen
you
some
should
other
come.
productions. No, I definitely want to come. I've seen some productions around here, local club Hardbells here in Santa Monica, and
Yeah.
there's Little Miss Nasty. There's
Yep.
Cherry Boom Boom. There's just a multitudinous amount of burlesque, and
Yeah.
so to be that person being all eyes on you. I don't think you're going to get a case of the nerves when we see you at the Viper Room or out there.
No, I think I'm more ready than anything. Like I've definitely been waiting for this. I feel like my entire life, and I just feel like it's like, all right, go time. This is the pivotal point. This is when life is really about to change now. So I think it's good to have nerves, like that excitement, butterfly kind of feeling going through your body before you hit the stage. I do get like that. But I think it's more like the urge to showcase my talent and showcase these songs that mean so much to me. And
Mhm.
again, just having those fans relate. So yeah, I'm fucking stoked. I'm so pumped.
Right. And you got a band in place. Tell me about your
Yeah.
band.
My band is fucking awesome. I got so blessed, thank God. Like I work with all touring musicians. I got really, really lucky with that. funny story though, I went through 5 drummers before I actually found like my drummer. It just, I don't know, I had a case of the bad luck with the drummers. I don't know why.
Mhm.
But I have Chrissy Warner drumming for me now. He used to drum for the Butcher Babies. He's just insane. I have Nick Diltz on bass, who used to play in Yeti. And same with my guitar player too. He also used to play in Yeti. So it's just, they're all really, really good guys. And what is the best thing is they're so passionate about the project like I am, you
Mhm.
know, because you take it, it's me, it's Lexi Layne. Like I am the band, you know, but you know, I hire out my musicians, and that was important for me, as I wanted to have guys a part of it that wanted to be a part of it, and it just shows so much. I mean, they're all just fucking killer and great guys to hang out with, and they're all really excited too. They're like, we're so excited to like hit the stage with you, and it's gonna be good. Yeah.
You've been pretty much a one person entity writing all this stuff yourself. So
Yeah.
having those guys there, maybe do a little collaboration, maybe some little, I don't say alter a song, but you know how they can just come in and say, "Hey, I suggest we do this," or I mean, I don't know how it works because I'm not
Yeah,
there, but
but you're right. That is what we have done. You know, we've had about 4 rehearsals already, and everything's gone super smoothly. Like, thank God. Um, but you know, they put their input in, their artistic, you know, input in, and I love that. I have like a saying, like, I'll never tell an artist what to do, because I just don't
no.
think you should ever do that. So, you know, like some things with like Chrissy, you know, my drummer, he's like, hey, I think we should add like, you know, cymbals here and maybe like add some splashes and dance it up. And I'm like, whatever you think. And it's just nice that we kind of put all of our creativity together with the songs and just like revamped some things to sound bigger and brighter and better. And, you know, Dominate, I will say, is fucking massive live. I never thought that song could sound bigger than what it does, but it is massive live. So I'm definitely most excited for everyone to really get into that song, because it sounds
Yeah, no,
really
that
cool.
one, that was one of the first tracks I heard. And yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a killer one live.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
So how is the as far as the following your base? Are a lot of people getting word about Lexi Layne? And
Yeah, I'm gonna put that out there as a yes. Yeah, I've had some really good interviews lately, and you know, some bigger playlists that I've hit on Spotify, and you know, it's all a climbing game to get, you know, where you want to get, and obviously, like, I'm not completely where I want to be yet, but I know I'm on my way there. So I'm
Mhm.
grateful for the impact that the EP has made so far, and the new fans that I have gained, and the new followers I've gained. And it just seems to be going the way that it's supposed to be going. So it's all good though. I have not had any negative feedback. So that's a good thing.
I think the content, the way that some of the lyrics in your songs are going to resonate with maybe to say troubled teens, because they resonate with
Yeah.
me, a bit older, and yet, I mean, I can identify with it. I can also identify with the power trip, and wanting to be in control. And I think it's something that's universal, yet I think it really hits I think it's going to hit the heartstrings of um, that the renegades,
Yeah.
the rebels, like, fuck you, we're going to do what we want. And by the way, I just had my heart broken in a million pieces by this dude or this chick, and you helped me through this.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's going to be a big payoff. I'm sure that's going to give you chills.
Oh yeah, I wait for those moments where I have like a 14-year-old girl come up to me and just give me the biggest hug and say thank you. Like, because that means I'm doing my job. And
Yeah.
that's me giving back, and somebody resonating with my music. And I just think that is the most amazing feeling, is someone resonating with something that you created, you know, from nothing. that it's the best feeling.
I love sitting and watching people like yourself and the band with the Sharpies out, signing, CDs and merch and stuff, and the hugs, and and then I have my ear in the conversation, and the person's getting weepy because they're telling you, I even named my son after, all kinds of different scenarios. So
Yeah.
and because I don't see like a long backlog of your touring, and I think you're relatively new to
I
the
am.
scene, so it's got to be a rush to see this come to fruition. You're booking shows, you got a killer band. um the producer obviously knew what the fuck he was doing.
Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
it's
onward and upward. Yeah.
yeah, it's it's definitely surreal when everything you have been manifesting for so long starts to come true and you're like, wow, this is just like what's meant for me, and I'm very, very excited to see what the future holds. I'm excited to see where I am at this time next year, because it's like
Mhm.
if I'm playing my first show with my band and the first place I'm ever playing is the Viper Room, I think that's a pretty good fucking start. And I have nothing to complain about. So, I
Yeah.
talked to a lot of people and they're like, yeah, we started in like some, shitty bar, and which again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's where I
No.
was planning on starting.
No.
But the fact that it's the Viper Room, it definitely means like it means a lot, 100%.
If you go slug it out in a Ford Econoline van, and get 2 showers a week, and I mean, there's something very romantic about that to me. And I've heard the story, and I've watched people come up, and I'm not going to name the names, but I've watched them come from nothing, and
Yeah.
they'll tell me that they love those that period of infancy, going
Yeah.
out and getting burned, going out, getting their equipment stolen, the breakdowns on the road, and
It's all part of it though. Like and
yeah,
you know what? Like I look forward to those days when I'm on tour and my van breaks down or whatever it may be. Like that's all part of the journey. And I think without struggle, you don't succeed as high as you should. Like I kind of live for the struggle, so that like when I look back, even I look back now and I'm like, wow, I did that all by myself. Like I'm a one woman show and I'm here and I'm proud of where I am. So I can only imagine where I'll be, next year from now. So it's nice to see, and it's nice to be proud of like how far I've come, and just to see what the future holds. It's exciting.
that sounds like a perfect close almost. But can I take you back,
Yeah,
like,
take
to
me
your
wherever.
beginnings? What were you like as a kid? Were you like a geeky kid that liked I don't even know who your influences are, and did you always want to be a singer? Did you
I was
from the
definitely
get?
not geeky. I was not geeky at all. I was um very outgoing as a child. My mother threw me in musical theater very young. I think I was like 4. And I was the one that would grab the mic out of my teacher's hand and start screaming and just singing out of nowhere. Uh, yeah, and then once I hit middle school, I was that angsty, rebel, emo scene kid that hated her life, for like I had, struggles at home like most kids, and definitely have daddy issues. And my mom is like my rock and she's like my best friend and she's always been my biggest supporter, so I'm definitely like a mommy's girl. um and it was funny. I remember when I first started taking vocal lessons, and I had a vocal teacher that told me that I couldn't sing, and I ran out of the room hysterical crying because he was more of like an operatic kind of like singing teacher. And
Mhm.
obviously, I don't sing like that. So he just automatically said to me, like, you can't fucking sing. You should just give up. Um, so I definitely went through waves as a kid, and then, got into musical theater and started nailing all the bigger roles, like all the women that had the really big voices. Those are the parts that I would play. And then along the line, I kind of switched and I was like, Mom, I want to start like doing my own music. So music for me, I feel like was always a part of my life since like day one. I always wanted to be a singer. There was nothing else that I wanted to do. I was failing all of my classes except for drama. I was in honors drama. Um, Math class, like my teacher would come around and be like, "Hey Lex, do you want to take the test today?" And I'd be like, "Just fail me." Like I never cared because I always knew somehow I was going to end up here, and here I am. So
That's a good trajectory. And
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
so I was the geeky kid. I was the trumpet
Okay.
player, and my friends were playing guitar and growing their hair. Yeah, maybe a late bloomer, but always had my ear in music. And I think
Yeah.
that's, so I didn't mean to call you a geek, but some people will
Oh
say,
no.
yeah, I was a bucktooth geek. I wore Coke bottle glasses and I couldn't sing a lick. And now look at me. I
Yeah.
fucking own it, right? But that daddy issues seems
Yeah.
to be the common thread with a lot of us now. Comes out in the songs.
Um yeah, well I feel like it just like always stemmed from my father into the men I dated in the
Mhm.
past, which worked into the song because I feel like it's such like a domino effect. But yeah, I mean, growing up with a parent who was a severe addict and not in, my life was traumatizing. I didn't understand at the time why, all my friends around me had two parents and mine was like never in the picture and very in and out of my life. There was never any consistency. But again, now, being older and wiser and like the woman I've become, like I'm kind of grateful for everything that happened because
Right.
I don't really think I would be who I am today and as strong as I am today. And I honestly don't even think I would write some of the music that I have written if that all didn't kind of like domino effect on me.
I think pain is a great teacher in that regard. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you certainly don't have any confidence issues. I mean, I
No. I'm humble though. I'm very humble. I am very
no, I
humble.
get that. I don't see conceive, but what I mean is like, I have yet to see you live, but seeing the videos, uh, having my ear in a couple interviews, and just hearing the music, it seems like you're self-reliant. You're not a whimpering. You're not in the back. You're not a wallflower. You're not the background singer. You're up fucking front. You're
I
the
did
front
try
woman.
that too though. I did try that. I did do some background vocals when I lived in Florida for a couple different like Spanish artists and some R&B artists and it just
Mhm.
didn't work. I remember I did one show for a Spanish artist and they're like all we can hear is you. We got to get rid of you. I'm sorry. And
You are a threat.
I'm like, okay, never mind. Like, thank
Yeah.
you though, I appreciate it. But yeah, definitely not a wallflower, definitely not a pushover. I'm very, very sure of who I am, and I'm very confident in who I am and you know who I am becoming. So I always like to be the one in the front that's like, look at me, like I'm here. It's like
Right.
hard to miss me. I'm very the outspoken one. And, when I'm out with my friends and they're like, oh, I don't want to go talk to that person, but we need this to happen. And I'm like, it's fine. I'll do it. They all know to go to Lexi because I'll open my mouth and say something. So,
What gives you juice? What gets you off besides I mean, what do you do for fun? Um
what gets me going is definitely being on stage. That adrenaline rush of about to perform, whether I'm obviously if I'm singing, it's a whole different level, but whether I'm singing, I'm doing burlesque, I'm dancing, I'm hosting a show, whatever it may be, I mentally get off on that so hardcore. It's just the best feeling. And I've always said since I was younger, like being on stage is my home. That hot spotlight on me is where I'm the most comfortable. all eyes are on me. I'm on the spot. I have this one chance and I'm going to show people what I can do. As far as like what I like to do for fun, like I'm actually really down to earth and laid back. Like I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't party. Like I'm such a low key homebody. Like me in my room with like a scary movie on and some good food, I'm like the happiest fucking camper, like no lie.
Yeah.
But I do like to travel. Like, me and my girlfriends, like we like to go to like dinners, and like we do like mini girl vacations and stuff like that. But I like the beach, and I'm a gym rat. I'm definitely like a super like health freak. So I love like taking care of myself and like eating really good food, definitely like a foodie. But yeah, I'm kind of like the one that's always up for anything, but it also like depends what it is, because like I'm not a
Mhm.
big partier. So
Yeah.
I'm just kind of go with the flow, down to earth, kind of chill girl.
It's so good to hear. I mean, it's you're going to be on the Sunset Strip. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
Mecca, right? That's
I know.
if you look at the history, it's all about decadence and debauchery, and and it's nice to. I mean, the assumption is I look at sinner and saint, or self sabotage. I look at that video and I go, she's off her tree. She's got like there's something wrong here. Um,
I'm a little off my rocker. I mean, like I can be, but it's all like
it helps,
it's all
And let me guess,
adrenaline though.
like the A&R or the record people that were maybe some people that were courting you wanted to change you into a pop singer, or
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
right?
That okay, so small little short story. When I first moved here from South Florida, I moved here so quickly in the time span that I did, because I had a manager that was like, I want to manage you, get here, I need you to live here. I'm like, okay. Try to make me like this pop R&B artist, which is like, I mean, I always say I can sing anything because I'm so like trained and I've been through it for years. But like R&B and like rap, it's not like my forte. Um, but he tried to make me a pop R&B star, and it just went crashing down. I wrote these 5 songs, I recorded them, and it just wasn't the same feeling. I couldn't get into it. I went through 5 managers in like the first month, or the first like 2 months that I lived here. It was insane. But I was going after the wrong people, because they all wanted to make me pop, 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 pop. And it just like wasn't what I wanted to do. But oh yeah, like I was totally, they were trying to change me 110%. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather just wait for this to happen the right way, which it did, thankfully. But my like first year here was very rough with trying to find the right people to work with. It definitely took me a minute.
Who's your go-to musician, the one that you would, not as an adoring fangirl, but somebody you look up to that maybe you would want to work with?
Oh, I mean, oh God, I can go on and on with this. Definitely the most consistent person my entire life is definitely Amy Lee from Evanescence. Um, just her voice in general, and just the band as a whole, just
Mhm.
every single detail and the time spent, like that's what I listen for. It's like the detail and the time spent and the really digging deep, and their lyrics. It's just, that's always one person that, yeah, if I could sing beside any female artist, it would honestly probably be her. Yeah, she's just amazing.
They're incredible. I saw them at Welcome to Rockville in 2019. So fucking good. I
I
mean,
still have never seen them live.
oh, they're very good. And Will, the drummer, is just a beast.
Oh
And
yeah, he's fucking insane.
yeah, he's incredible. I've seen him play in other bands here at the Whiskey. Um, sitting in with some, old guys like George Lynch, or no, I'm trying to think of the band. Anyway, I'll scratch that. because I could go down the rabbit hole with you, and I'm not going to do that. But yeah, she's a good one.
Yeah.
And she definitely commands that, you know, the exchange between her and the audience,
Mm,
from the person's up front all the way to the back of the 30,000 or a small room,
yeah. And that's so important. Like I always say that this has been like my new saying is like, I don't care how big my stage is or how small my stage is, or if I'm performing for one person or 1,000 people, I'm going to give you the same exact performance because it's me giving off my energy and wanting to exchange that energy with my audience. Again, it's so important. Like you can be a singer, but you also have to be a performer, and again, I feel like that's where my theater background kind of kicks in, and like doing burlesque is you're performing. You have to have those facial expressions and those eye contact moments with people in the audience. It's so important, and that's going to get people to say, fuck, she was really good, I
Yeah.
want to see her again, like, because that was such an amazing performance. And that's exactly what I'm striving for with all my performances, but most certainly this performance on November 3rd, because it is my first show and people have never seen me live, so it's important.
Yeah. So you're all fired up, doing a lot of rehearsals.
Yeah, every week, 4 hours, sometimes 3 hours, but it's
Mhm.
it's good. It's going really well. I have no complaints. So we're just gonna let it ride and let it flow, and it's gonna be great.
Do you have anything you want to say as we close to?
Well, first off, thank you for
Sure.
interviewing me today. This has been lovely. It's been very
Thanks for
nice
making the
talking to
time.
you. Yeah, of course. And yeah, for my listeners, I guess, follow me on Instagram, Lexi_Layne, and get your tickets to see me at the Viper Room on November 3rd. I go on at 11 p.m. and I hope to see everyone there.
All right. Well, Lexi, thanks again for your time. And
Thank you.
I'll be turning on Friends of the Album. I
Yes,
like it.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. See you soon.
Yes, I'll see you soon. Have a good one.